Right here. You got that thing about chain draggers and ready to go.
No, I can do it if you want me to.
Well,
I
now
fuck,
that
I'd probably.
now that we have the ability to fix these trucks, I'm a little more confident. We've just about got the head off that one.
Yeah, fuck,
So,
I don't remember what all that shit was, and I guess I could get to it while I'm on here though. Kind of. Yeah.
are you tired of the chain dragging monkeys making more revenue than you?
Oh, that fucks. Hang on a minute. I fucked this shit up. How the hell have I done this? Damn. There it is. What the fuck? Drag from top and touch. Okay,
Tra-
well, I can't.
Trace on TikTok says, "I know you don't like to finance a truck, but if you had to, where would you go to work? That's where I'd go and save up the money to buy one."
Yeah,
Listen, I don't know if y'all have noticed or not, but trucks are on sale.
that's a fact.
There was some dude in the Landstar group got his feelings hurt in a big way today because he was like, I'm thinking of selling my 2021 with 189,000 miles on it. What do y'all think?" And the comments were like, "Oh, about 30."
He'd be lucky to get that out of it at this point.
Quiet Watcher says, "Get it together, Phil." Is that one of your minions?
I don't know. I don't know who that is. There ain't no telling. That may be one of my fans or something from I don't know about. So
Phil says you're worse with technology than his dad. Well, he's doing all right.
this was kind of impromptu, so we
Yeah.
didn't really, have any warning here.
Yeah, we put this together somewhere around 90 seconds ago, so
Yeah, there you go.
oh goodness.
Somebody had to fill in for No Show Jones.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, there's Barb. So I thought the quiet watcher might be Barb, but
well, hey, look, there the other guys on here now.
what other guy? Oh shit, there he is. All right, well this ought to be fun. All right, here, I'm gonna copy this. Better late than never,
Does that,
right?
does that mean we have a Kentucky Alabama war tonight?
Very well could be. Now you talk about y'all trying to figure out technology. Wait till it takes the next 20 minutes to get him on here. Well, I can hear you barely. Let me look at your settings here. Your your output is set for your Mac Mini, so you need to change it to the codec so you can hear in your headphones. Right, but it says your headphones is set for the Mac Mini, not your headset. In the settings, let me see if it'll let me. Yeah, I just tried to set it myself. See what happens. Well, your audio is very very low. So have you monkeyed with your board or you've turned it down somehow? All right. Is your board turned on? Your signal's good. Let me try this. All right, now say something.
Check one, check one.
Okay. I've turned you way up, so don't touch anything. I've turned you up to where I can hear you. I'll have to check the peanut gallery and see if they can hear you.
Okay. I still can't hear myself.
Yeah, I've got you turned way up, but it's going to sound like hot garbage. Let me turn this back down where it was.
Check, 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 check,
Ooh,
check, check.
ooh. What'd you do?
I just turned the volume up on the where the mic goes into the
Okay.
board.
All right. That's pretty good. That sounds a lot better.
Check, check, check. I can hear myself now.
Okay. Outstanding.
You like that?
I do. It's 8:03. Better late than never. We're just going to keep Phil on here because he was ready to jump in and pinch hit if needed.
What's I'm hitting a humming, a buzzing.
I don't hear it. So I think that means we're okay. Could just be your headphones.
Okay.
All right. Well, and with that,
It's
good evening.
when I take it off my calculator, it stops.
Okay.
When I take the soundboard off my calculator.
Okay. All right. Well, with that,
Okay.
good evening, lunatics. We're back with you. It is May 31st. Well, we're almost halfway through 2024. It's May 31st. It's Friday night. We got Phil on here with us.
I could drink.
Yeah. Phil, you got any blue moons in front of you there? Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't be far away.
Hey, look, I made it. I made it nearly two.
Phil now.
I made it nearly 2 weeks without one of these, so it was
his
time.
lips,
You know,
I don't hear him.
Well, you've got to set your headphones for the codec so that you can hear what's coming out of the internet.
Okay, well, on the settings for the codec or for the video thing, it's set. It doesn't say anything about headsets. On my computer, let me go to sound there. Okay, now try it.
1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear Phil now?
Phil, speak. Phil, talk.
yeah. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you.
I'm talking. Okay.
I got you. Okay, I got it fixed.
All right. Let's get this train back on the tracks.
All right.
So it's the last day of May. We ended the great platform challenge of May. Bard challenged everybody to $50,000, and she pretty much whooped everybody in the fleet. I don't remember what the exact number, but if she's here, I'm sure she knows it by heart. It's 40. Was it 43,000 or 44,000? She did.
It is
something like that. I think it was more than that. I think it was 45. I think Greg was around 43.
Well, I've got a BSC 9000 in a spreadsheet here, so I know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't see the raw data in the source material.
Oh, wait a minute, I've got $45,324.67. Greg, $42,866.07. Jared, $33,535.75. So Barb is the champion. She beat Greg by about $2,000, $3,000, which ain't bad for such a terrible market. Poor Evan, he's spent most of the time at the house.
Didn't he have a couple $1,000 though? Didn't he make one load on that?
He had $6,100.
6,100. Okay, we did better than I thought then. So yeah,
6,160. It would have been a little better, but one of the loads ended up paying the following week because of the holiday.
Right.
So that would have been.
Yeah, but when he got that truck fixed though, he came out kicking ass and taking names though.
Yeah.
I think he had some frustration or something.
Yeah. Well, with that load that moved for the holiday, it put him at $12,996 this week. So
yeah.
That's a respectable showing coming up from the rear,
Yeah. Exactly.
Dave wants to know what the topic is tonight. All of them. I mean, just all the topics,
Pick one, Dave. We'll go with it.
We I have had quite an interesting week at the shop. Hey, Anik's in the TikTok chat. Um,
Oh, I need to have. I don't see TikTok. I need my.
um,
I'm gonna go to my phone too. I can't get TikTok going.
I mentioned last week that we had a 12.7. We put rocker assemblies in, and we learned some hard lessons there. Well, we learned a few more because the truck made it 50 miles before there was catastrophic failure. And turns out the injector hold down bolts are single use, and somebody double used them, and it broke. So me and Kyle and Jonathan today and tomorrow will be pulling ahead off of a Detroit 12.7. So that's been kind of an interesting process to go through. So I'm getting ready to pull my first head and see how that goes. So yeah, lots of. I mean, everything is trending in the right direction as far as revenue and things. We've got a driver or two in the pipeline. We've got some trucks that we're putting into the system. So the first 4 months or so was a little concerning, but we're heading in the right direction now. So I'm confident that the rest of the year is going to be pretty nice. I saw for a topic on. I opened Twitter, the number one dumpster fire of the internet, and apparently there is a mass movement to end paid parking by a bunch of whiny truck drivers. They're mad at the truck parking club people because how dare they provide alternatives for truck drivers to park for a small fee. And so they're all mad and upset. And so I got to see a little bit of that. We are working on some platform opportunities in our program. So if you have some platform experience and maybe you have not decided not to do the program because you thought there wasn't platform, we actually do have those. We do have those opportunities. They are somewhat limited. There was an announcement in our fleet message yesterday, I believe it was, or maybe it was this morning.
It was this morning.
It was this morning. Are you tired of the chain dragging monkeys making more revenue than you? Tired of being bossed around by nourished Neanderthals who pose as security guards? Are you being picked on at the truck stops by bearded women? Become a man today. Join the platform division of Blue Ribbon Logistics. Become a professional hero. That was from
our platform guru here in the chat, by the way.
I'm not sure if he started drinking before he typed that, but it sounds as good of a sales pitch as I'd ever heard.
So. I'm quite sure he was drinking when he typed that. Okay.
Actually, I was sober. I'm gonna write another one here after I have a few. You might not want to read it on the air though. It might be a little much.
Listen, our friend the BSE 9000 says the platform is the place to be. The numbers do not lie. That the platform opportunities are certainly greater than those pulling a van. So,
Ashley Burton, I'm in the onboarding process with Landstar. Is the trailer situation really true?
Yeah. Well, okay.
What do you think after that?
I've heard. We haven't had to go through that for a while, but I have heard it's gotten better. They say 3 business days. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, but it's never been that. I've never known that.
Ashley, here's what I would tell you.
I would go to church if I were you.
Here's what I would tell you, Ashley. When you go to orientation as a BCO, they're going to set you up with a staff account and some online classes that you're required to take care of in your first 14 days. 10 days. Is it 10 or 14? Anyway, that you have these like five classes. It's hazmat, it's food safety. You have these to do. I would get done with the second day of orientation. I'd go have a big steak dinner and get some rest. And then on that day 3, I would just sit at my computer and get all them classes done because you have time. If you're in Indianapolis, run over to the Flying J and see Gary V and get you some new stickers. Get your ELD hooked up. Take your time. But get those classes done.
You're going to have plenty of it.
You're going to have plenty of it. I ain't got my glasses on. What's that next one say? Thinking of leasing a step deck to bring with me.
We got a plan for you.
I've got news for that for you. If you want to lease a step deck, why don't you give us a call? We've got one. We will fix you up. Okay. I'll make you a better deal probably than Landstar's going to do. And I actually have it. You can back up to it and pick it up and use it.
That's true.
You don't have to get on a list.
Yeah, that list for a Landstar step deck is quite considerable most of the time.
Right.
You think getting a van's rough, try getting a step deck from them.
So Ashley, Larry at blueribbonlogistics.com, Larry at blueribbonlogistics.com, and we will hook you up. The trailer is sitting in Charleston, West Virginia. And we can make that happen for you as quick as you can get there. So
Dave Rocco wants to know how old is too old for platform work.
Man, there's a Mr. What is his name?
That's going to depend on your individual preferences. We got you're taking the guy that's 136 years old.
Yeah, we've got a guy that's still pulling 14, 15 wide oversized stuff that's 78 years old.
We don't have him, but Landstar does.
Yeah, Landstar does. He's been around quite a while. He lives out in Oklahoma, and he's I don't even know why. Only God knows why this man still works, because I can assure you he don't need to. But I guess when you enjoy what you do, you keep doing it as long as you can. But he like I said, he's 78 years old, and he's out here showing us, showing all these young people how it's done. So as long as you can physically do it.
Nobody's telling me that he can't do it. That's the problem. He doesn't know any better. So
right.
And he can kick everybody's ass that talks to him. So
yeah, that's it. So yeah, he's I mean, as long as you're physically able to do it, I mean, there's, that's up to you.
So, hey, I've unraveled the mystery. The quiet.
I have to.
Yeah, quiet watcher, aka Randall Blonde.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm out of this inside joke. What are you talking about?
Well, there's a quiet watcher in the comment section. We weren't sure who it was, but we just figured out that it's Random Blonde incognito.
Okay. Well, that would have been my first guess.
Yeah.
She can cause some trouble, by the way.
She's been known to cause some trouble. Yeah.
She has. Yes, she has. Before we even knew her.
Yes, exactly. So. She's quite the troublemaker.
Richard McKinnon on YouTube says it took him 3 minutes to get a van a few days ago. So
3 minutes.
3 minutes. That's what he says.
Those don't. The ones you steal from, the truck stop don't count.
Yeah.
Does Landstar know about it? That's the question.
You didn't go to Landstar to get it.
Yeah.
Some BCO's missing a trailer right now.
Yeah.
Now, for the right price, we could also hook you up with a van, by the way. I mean, not to buy, you could use it, but it's gonna. There's a bounty on it that you're gonna need to take care of. But just don't ask questions.
Well, there is a van down there for sale. So if you're looking for
that is true. We do have a guy that's a van for sale. Yeah. If you want to buy a van, we've got one of those too. It's not ours. It's one of the people that we work with. Nice van, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. Bull Train 5. How old of a truck can we lease? I'm guessing that's for Landstar. As long as it has an electronic engine, you're good. So it can go back to the early 90s.
And passes a Landstar inspection.
Yeah. But if you can hook an ELD to it, it's good. Face shutter. Is it better to bring your own van to Landstar? Absolutely not.
No.
100% no.
Don't believe the stuff you read on Facebook.
Right. Um, the the thing about the vans, okay, when you're using the Landstar fleet, yes, you're occasionally going to have a bad tire. Somebody's going to leave a trailer with an ABS light on. Okay, that's going to happen, and that's where you rely on your skills as a business owner and a problem solver to get the problem solved. But with the thousands and thousands of loads that we have booked and run at Landstar with vans, it is absolutely no comparison. When you take away the opportunity to do drop and hook freight, you lose a hell of a lot of money. So now bringing your own flatbed or step deck or platform trailer, that's a completely different ballgame. But it's an absolute waste of time, energy, and money to bring a van trailer to Landstar. Now, listen, if you have to put wax on the seat so your candy ass won't stick to it, and you just whine and complain every time you have the littlest problem, and somebody leaves a trailer with a flat tire and you've got to fix it. If you're a candy ass, then probably you ought to go buy your own trailer. And please stay out of the Landstar groups with your whining and bitching and complaining like a 12-year-old. Phil, if Rod says, is that the guy that runs an old Mac and bought a new run about 7 years ago?
No,
No.
this guy's name's Bob Hinchy. He's like I said, I think he's 78, 79, somewhere along in there. He's got an international because he's cool people. So he knows what's going on.
Special needs people.
Rocky wants to know if he can come with his uncle's dually and hot shot and make $2 million a year.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would keep your MD equipment with you when you're doing it, though.
Yeah, just do the alignments at night at the truck stop, and run during the day.
Along with it,
you might get $2 million.
Along with some other business enterprises you might be doing at the truck stop.
Yeah.
Evan says, would it be possible to swing an electronic engine into a pre-ELD truck and lease that to Landstar? I mean, you probably could, swing a modern engine into a 77 KW or something, but number one, why would you? But Landstar's probably going to be like, no, it didn't come with that engine.
They're going. You better make sure the engine is not newer than or the emissions are not different than what the truck year manufacturer was, or you won't be able to bring it now.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 2004 emissions in a 94 truck, it's not going to matter.
You're fine, but vice versa, you're not.
Yeah. It's. I mean, there's a guy grandfathered in. I don't know if he's still here. Years ago, he had a 1987 Peterbilt with a twin stick. The truck had been in the family since it was new, and I know that he was grandfathered in. He was allowed to stay after the ELD mandate, but you could never bring that truck in because it didn't have an electronic engine. Now maybe he could put an electronic engine in it, and they would let him in. But the cubicle. I was talking to somebody today, might have been Chris Dolan, and we were talking about the safety people and the because I know what it was. There was a customer who'd come in and the driver was throwing a fit, and so it was a fight between dispatch wanting to get paid to fix the truck and safety saying no, you can't move it until it's done, and dispatch wanted it thrown together. And he watched this fight. And he's like, well, you'd think them safety people would want the customer to get their load delivered. And I said, nope, they don't give a shit. No, they don't care at all. I had one of them at Landstar one time. I said, you realize we're trying to get the load to the customer and delivered. He said, that is not my concern. All right, then. Face Shutter says, I don't complain. Well, you're not much of a truck driver then. You'll turn in your CDL if you don't complain. Now I will, Barbara said, there are people that own vans at Landstar and do well. Okay. But they're highly, 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 highly specialized. They have lift gates and belly boxes and you know, but what I want people to understand in the first year or two of running your business, especially if you've never been in business before and you've never had a truck leased on anywhere, I need you to worry about the basics, right? You can specialize yourself about year 3 if you can survive the first 2 years of learning how to run your business well. And then, if you want to go buy a van with a lift gate and belly boxes and ramps and pallet jacks and blankets and bars and decking and all that kind of stuff, hell yeah, you can make a ton of money running, uh, you know, doing tours for Aerosmith and all this kind of specialized van stuff. There's tons of money out there, but it's highly highly specialized. When you come in the first 2 years, you just need to be worried about making money, raising revenue, and lowering expenses. That's what you need to be worried about. And so, if you're pulling a van, just pull theirs and get that drop and hook freight that's easy to get to and pays well.
Quit giving our secrets away, Chris.
It's what we've been doing for 5 years. Trying to
I
think.
sure wish I had my iPad, so I'd have to look at this phone right now, but it's not charged up. Anik's in here.
Ian,
Hey,
our friend Ian. It is insane how cheap I've seen trucks in the last few weeks. I saw a 30,000 for a 2021 with 700,000 miles. I think it was a Cascadia. Would it be Lunatic material? Yeah, Lunatic 2.0. But yeah, the 2020, well, certainly the 16s, 17s, 18s, but the 20 and 21s are even coming down into a range that is reasonable, a reasonable investment to be in the Lunatic 2.0. There's just different. There's a couple of different things you would do to one of those versus one of the old trucks. But we interviewed a guy the other day who had put a deposit down on a truck with a guy that I know and I like, who I think's a good guy, but it was going to be $70,000 for a 2018 Freightliner. I'm like, dude, that's insane.
that must have come with a van load full of cocaine.
Well, he listed, it had a bunch of new parts. I'm like, even if it had a brand new engine and a brand new one box, a 2018 with 700,000 miles might be worth 30, 35, maybe. But $70,000, that's insane. That's just crazy. There was one come into the shop, I don't know, a month or two ago, when low compression, the DD15, and basically, guy needs an in-frame.
I can't figure out this fellow's name. The THE must be the Texas Legend.
What are you
Hi
talking?
guys, bought a truck for $2,500 10 years ago. Other than regular maintenance, it's run great.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the
So
early.
you mean it didn't nickel dime you to death like everybody says old trucks do?
Right.
You must just be lucky.
Right. But anyway, this truck came into the shop and it had no compression, and the guy's got to do an in-frame, which is going to be at least 25 on a DD15. And he's like, well, I need to sell the truck for 15. Well, we start looking around, and 16s are selling for 15 running, with running engines for 15, and you got one that's a boat anchor. Like, I'm like, dude, your truck's worth $5,000 or $6,000, maybe. It's a nice truck. It's in good shape, but it's still not worth that kind of money, So it's,
Has anybody acknowledged Anik being on here tonight?
Yes, I did.
Hi, Anik.
Yeah. It's Freight Brokers Lounge. Hey, girl. Well, she's so good at stirring shit up on TikTok. That's my people.
That's my people.
Yeah. I'll be back momentarily. I've got to go find more adult beverages here.
Oh, okay.
So
that gives us time to talk about you. Take your time.
That's fine. You do what you got to do.
Stick Random Blonde on there while you're gone. We'll talk about her about you, okay?
Oh goodness.
Before we get in trouble, Random Blonde is his wife, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Allegedly wife.
I was trying to think there was something went crazy on TikTok this past week, and I for the life of me I can't remember what it was. I've been working like 12-hour days in the shop, and my brain is completely fried.
Well, that was a nice segue. Let's announce a new sponsor we have. The Blue Ribbon Truck Services Bay at Cam's Truck Services in Charleston, West Virginia. Take it away, Chris.
All right, so June 17th, we have locked it down. June 17th will be the grand opening of
I don't know how grand it'll be, but it'll be an opening, okay?
Well, I think it's going to be grand. So,
okay.
By God, it's grand. It's going to be the grand opening, where Rocky might be coming in town. He's talked about coming up if we can make it work. And so MD alignments, OPS installs, some light mechanical fleet air filters will be set up for that. Now it's going to be very important. I'm going to have to set something up on the website for scheduling because, we need to know that you're coming. Understand that when you want an MD alignment, your truck has to be inspected. And so,
What was that?
I think Phil's back. Your truck has to be inspected to make sure that it's good for the alignment. So, if you just show up and we don't know you're coming, it might create a situation where you have to come back. So, I'm going to set up some scheduling on the website. So hopefully that will help us with, because this is a new thing where we got to work the bugs out of it.
Now, you folks have already emailed me saying you want to be there. I'll put those on the website for you. Okay, I give them to Chris. Haven't put them on there, so
yeah,
you don't have to do it again. I've got your emails.
There you go, Evan.
Face Shutter, you guys creating a mailing list and sending out grand opening sales.
We have this thing called a podcast. It's a little more efficient than a mailing list. We're going to stick with it.
Consider yourself mailed.
Right. And if you're female, consider that too.
Certainly, as the business grows, we're going to have some opportunities to do stuff like that. Oh, that's it. Y'all, I'll come back to this, but Brandy reminded me what the big TikTok thing was last year or this past week. So anyway, MD alignments, fleet air filters, OPS installs. We're going to be doing that stuff in Charleston. Cams is almost completed with getting set up to do Landstar 120s. So that's going to be huge. And they're a full service shop 24/7. So, this is going to be us working together with Cams for us to do alignments, them to do other work, get 120s done. There's a couple of really good glass companies I want to reach out to for like windshields, because I know since like if you're leased a Landstar, we get what, 2 windshields a year or something through Gallagher.
I didn't know there was a limit.
I think there is. I think it's 2.
Well,
but
we have complete comprehensive insurance. Anyway, Kentucky, it's required that they replace a windshield under comprehension. So.
Well, the big thing about the windshield is it goes through SafeLight. When you call the number, it's like, thank you for calling SafeLight. By the way, we're SafeLight. We don't do big truck windshields anymore. I still haven't figured out how that works. So I'm about done with SafeLight because they have become an absolute pain in the ass. But there's Mountaineer Glass and there's another place called Auto Glass now. I'm gonna try to, build some relationship with those guys because they can. I think they can help provide those services. West Virginia Hillbilly, we're at in Charleston, North Charleston. We are back behind where the old Yellow Terminal was on 7th Avenue in North Charleston. It's 2209A 6th Avenue in Charleston, 25387. So
Follow your GPS because you can't get there without GPS. I'll find that out.
well, you can get there.
You can barely get there with a GPS.
You can get there.
There's some places you can't get to in West Virginia with the
Yeah.
GPS.
Yeah, we found that shit out the hard way, didn't we? Well, we didn't. Well, driver did. But you can get there by getting off at Montrose and crossing the Patrick Street Bridge, or you can get there by coming off the Dunbar exit and coming up 7th Avenue. So yeah, that's exciting. We moved it back a week because I'm going to be on vacation from the 8th to the 16th. And during my vacation, I've let everyone know that I'm going to have a very strict nap schedule. I've got a morning nap, an afternoon nap, mid-evening nap. I work all the family things in together. There's a pool and a hot tub, from the bed to the pool to the hot tub, back to the bed, maybe back to the hot tub, then to the pool. But I'm not going to be turning any wrenches for 8 days. I'm looking forward to that greatly. So
hey, look, here's the thing. I'm going to post his nap schedule on the fleet message here after a while. So y'all set your alarms to give him a call about, halfway through that nap. Give him all the help he can get here.
Right?
West Virginia Hillbilly says there's a Glass America in Huntington that does big truck windshields, Chris.
Yeah. There's a place in Canal City that's pretty good. And then we have Mountaineer Glass right there in Dunbar. That's about 5 miles from the shop.
Whoever the shutter is, we will have the Atro bushings there. I don't know if Cam's has them or not, but we'll have them.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. We will have the Atro bushings and also the torque rods as well.
Yeah. We're working on having everything. We're working on having everything there so that we can expedite the process.
Right. Now, we may not have it set up by June 17th, but we are going to do our best. I think we can do it, be the diesel force cleaning facility as well for you guys that are driving the emissions trucks. Chris, we forgot to do that this week while we were together.
Do what?
The diesel force cleaning. Yeah. Rocky, I ordered the shims today. Yes.
You shipping those to me, I guess.
Yes.
All right, good. Josh Coke, nothing in West Virginia is easy to get to. Listen, I don't know what you Yankees have such a problem with. I mean, it's just, it's just go to the end of the paved road and turn left. That's.
Yeah, but he's from up there where there's no. There's paved roads, but all the roads go between cornfields. You got to go to the corn stalk that bent over and turn right. Okay.
Richie, at some point a couple years ago, Richie needed to leave his Arsenal here because he couldn't get on an airplane with it, and so I just left it in my van out here in the driveway, and so he had to drive up here and to the house, which is up on top of a mountain and lots of curves, and he told me, I can't believe you drive up here in a big truck, and I'm like, I don't know what your problem is.
Driving up there's not problems coming back down the hill with a big truck. That could be exciting. Okay.
Well,
particularly if you have a trailer.
Yeah, it can. I always know there's trouble like in town if there's like a road shut down or something, because we'll be looking out and a Swift truck will come past my house. And I know that they have done some unfortunate trip planning.
Swift truck.
Yeah.
I would hate to see a Swift truck on that road.
they've had a rough day by that time.
Yeah. If they don't know how to drive, they'll know by the time they get up to Kenna.
Or be seriously injured, one or the other.
Yeah.
I remember when I came up there and got Big Red that night. I'm driving up there in that damn rental car, and I'm like, this is going to suck. And I wasn't wrong. It did suck coming back down that mountain.
What'd you go up there and get Big Red?
That
truck that I traded Josh for.
Oh, okay,
yeah, that fire truck you got from Josh.
Not your truck, Rocky. Yeah. Not your truck. It's probably never been up there, Rocky.
Oh, his truck was rebuilt here.
Really?
His
your house? Your house?
Yeah. Yeah, we put the hood on it out here in the driveway with the tractor.
Really?
Yeah,
Was the hood still on when you got it back down the hill?
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Uh,
Impressive.
well, you can remember you came up here, and it was about in I think it was in
Oh,
January,
I
and
remember well.
it was
I
about
remember
4
well.
degrees outside, and Carl had been working in my driveway for about 18 hours, uh, beating a fire out of a front suspension. Um, so yeah. Which, by the way, Carl update. He had a little bit of a hiccup, but I guess is starting to turn around. They say he might get to go home in the next couple weeks. So that's certainly good news. Let's see. This is interesting. Redshift Trucking. My drives have a valve stem that does not accept a standard valve cap. It seems like the thread pitch is different. Any idea where I can find valve stem caps that fit?
Chewing gum works.
Chewing gum.
Not chewing tobacco, chewing gum.
J-Bo says, I just bought an 05 FLD 132 for 6,000. Is it cheaper to buy a 14 liter or rebuild the one I have that has a lot of missing parts? I'm guessing buy a
Kind
whole
of missing
engine.
parts.
I
It-
mean,
it depends on the part that are missing. If it's
Yeah.
a block, yeah, you'd probably be better off buying a new
um,
one.
I mean, you can buy a swing-in engine from different places. I'm trying. Somebody remind me. Maybe Josh can if Josh is here. There's a guy on TikTok that sells complete engines, and I cannot think of his. I can't think of his hand. Oh, Rocky said, okay, do your valve stems have flow through caps on them? That might be your problem. If it already has that flow through cap, that's your problem. You might have to screw those off in order to, because I don't know. I've never seen Worldwide Diesel. Thank you, Rocky. Worldwide Diesel is a guy on TikTok. You can buy complete engines from him. A lot of it depends. I mean, look, you've got an FLD, so you're a little bit under the gun because you're going to have um, some other parts issues. Andy, that's the guy that moved to Texas. That's Hack Nation. So every decision is made with a calculator. I think you just got to look at the different. I would find a good old school Detroit mechanic because listen, there's not a whole lot that can be missing from a Detroit. Face Shutter's wanting to know where do you get your tires filled to 130. Probably going to have
where there's an air compressor plugged up somewhere.
Yeah, but what you're probably going to have to find is like an independent shop. Our like the big tank we've got will go to 130, but all these TAs have got all theirs choked down. But maybe a smaller independent shop. The Boss shop in Indianapolis used to have theirs cranked up, and I could always use their hose to get them up to 130.
Didn't we find a compressor on the internet, or was it a truck show that would do it?
Well, we found one that claims that they can do it. I would be interested to try one of those Milwaukee's, like 18 volt, to see if it would go to 130. I think the technology there is probably going to be getting better to where maybe you could have a battery powered small, um, uh, small portable machine that Andy says his Craftsman does 130. So there you go. I mean, that battery technology with Milwaukee and all that stuff has getting some. All his is a pancake. Okay. But but I'd like to try one of those Milwaukees and see if they'll do it. Wow. So Jack Novak, update from undisclosed mega carrier. They're splitting single loads across multiple trucks to keep us moving. Planning my exit, but found my contract is screwed. Will owe $10,000 to quit. Pulling in about 35 cents a mile after expenses. Wow. Yep. Jay asks, given the same amount of miles, how much more are your open deck trailers making versus dry van after expenses?
Well, our open deck trailers are all flatbed trailers now because we can the step deck.
Yeah.
So
I
as far, go
trying to
ahead.
I'm trying to think of the best way to answer that. The gross numbers are greater and they're easier to achieve, right? Our goal right now is 8,000 a week. It does not take anywhere near the effort to hit that 8,000 with a platform trailer than it does a van. And it's much, much easier for the platform trailer to hit the $10,000 and $12,000. They have more deadhead, but they can get bigger loads. Um, um, so, when you have more revenue, you are going to run less miles, and they pretty consistently do. I was looking yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, at our year to date, and May was our third biggest month. We did 219,000. We did 222,000 in January, but in May we did 219,000 on 64,546 loaded miles. So our average rate per mile was 340 in May. It was 313 in January, and our deadhead was 3% lower. Our deadhead was 18.7 in May, and it was 21 in January. So we had this month, we had less deadhead and more rate per mile spread across the fleet. So, that's pretty good. Let's see. Was there a van that ran? Yes. So here's a van that ran, which a new guy, so it's on a curve. But the van guy that did all 5 weeks, oh, and there's Richie. He did 29,000. Richie did 29,000. And, the average among our flatbed people was about $8,000. So, let's see, 33,000, 42,000, 45,000. So the platforms did each about $15,000 more revenue than the vans did. And I promise you they ran less miles.
They're probably running about, I would say, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 miles less a week on average to get those numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So
if the
Chris, here's a question I'm gonna let you answer.
Okay.
It's from Ashley again. If the flatbeds are paying better, why don't y'all use them?
Well, that's what we are.
We are using them, but we also keep the vans because we try to teach people the fundamentals here, and it's sometimes easier on a van because there's more loads, and flatbeds aren't always the best thing to do. Sometimes the flatbedders are running the van because the flatbed business has gotten bad. So we try to use vans as sort of an entry level, and then step them up to van as they get more proficient. That's why we do both.
all 4 of our platform drivers started out in this fleet as van. One of them Greg already had experience with flatbed when he came over here. So, but it's a lot to learn when you come over here and try to learn this business model if you've never done flatbed before. So you come over here, you learn it in a van, and then we transition you to that flatbed when you have enough experience and you show yourself worthy of it. Because to be honest with you, Chris and Larry's a lot better at teaching the fundamentals of this than I am. I can teach you how to pull a flatbed and how to make money doing it, but when it comes to the all the fundamentals of the Blue Ribbon program, as the basic fundamentals of it, that's on them. So,
What
um,
Phil's trying to say is he doesn't mess with the beginners. He only messes with the advanced people.
yeah,
So that's what he's trying to say. So if he doesn't like you or you don't qualify, you're not going to get to a flatbed here. And
Well,
yeah,
you better have your details straightened out, because
yeah,
every load that's pulled, he approves it via photographs or video. So keep
right.
that in mind.
Or a phone call.
Got to answer to the dude here. Okay.
well, don't lose sight of the reason people come here for the 77-week, 18-month program. That's to learn business, right? And so everybody's going to start out at least the first few weeks in a van, because van is, I mean, it's easy, right? It's not, you don't have to worry about strapping and tarping and all that kind of stuff. And it's a very demanding, right? You're here to learn business. All of the flatbed stuff, the platform stuff an added bonus. Um, so if we have you run a van for 6 weeks, even if you're an experienced platform person, we're gonna have you run that van. Number one, because we got to focus on the business first. Number two, you need to understand how to pull van freight, because there are lulls in the market where the platform people will park the platform trailer and go run a van. Well, we need to make sure you know how to do that. So we can teach you the fundamentals of our process, our communication, and our business strategies pulling a van. And then you've gotten through that, then we'll move you over to a platform. So there's two questions here and they match. One's from Wade on YouTube, the other's from Ashley on TikTok. Wade says, why is there so much pushback to step deck versus flatbed? And Ashley says, which is better, flat or step deck? Now, we've talked about this before. And there's a reason our step deck is for sale. Phil, take it away.
Well, there are about twice, I would say at least twice as many flatbed loads on Landstar's system as there are step deck loads. And if you're a BCO and you want to find that out, all you got to do is pick any given spot, pick a big metropolitan area, and look up just flatbed loads, and then look up step deck loads, and you will find out that there are a lot more flatbed loads out there. And not only that, but a lot of people, oh well, you can put flatbed loads on a step deck and vice versa. Yeah, that works sometimes, but a lot of times it don't. So you guys can have your step decks. The people think you've got to start off with a step deck to get into the double drops and all that, which Landstar, that's what they want you to do. They try to push everybody that comes here on a platform side into getting a step deck, but the reality of it is you don't have to do that. You can still move up and get to the higher ratings with a flatbed. I mean, step decks, it's they look at it as the more or less, the beginning of the specialized stuff, and it's just not. I mean, there's guys out here running, you know, a grocery getter truck that you'd pull a van with a 2 axle 48-foot flatbed. They're making all kind of money doing oversized stuff. So there's no reason you can't make money doing it with a 5 axle truck and a flatbed trailer. I mean, if you want to go pull step deck, more power to you. I wish you the best, but yeah, I don't want any part of it.
And there
So
there may be another carrier out there that has, maybe they have more step deck freight than they do flatbed. But here at Landstar, you have to look at the market for what it is. And um,
well, I, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of guys here at Landstar that do very well with a step deck. Now, I mean, I actually know a few guys that do very well with it, but for for this model, for this blue ribbon model, we found out that it doesn't work as well. So if you want to come out here and run like we do, and you know consistently make $8,000-10,000 a week without sitting around for 2 or 3 days between loads because you don't want to haul the quote unquote cheap freight, then yeah, you'll get you a flatbed and leave that step deck alone. But if your bills are paid and you don't have much money and you just want to be a hobby trucker, then If you want to pull a step deck, have at it, you know. So it it works, you know, it works both ways, but the flatbed is definitely going to make you more money in the long run if you're pulling legal stuff or even the smaller oversized stuff.
Zuggy asked, how do BCOs go about raising their ranking at Landstar to pull the more specialized stuff?
Well, they start you off as either an FB1 or SD1, depending on whether you're pulling a flatbed or a step deck. And you stay 6 months there doing legal freight. And then you give them a call and say, hey, I did my time, you know, move me up one notch. And they move you up to an FB or an SD2. And then you are allowed to do up to 10 wide stuff. And you stay there for 6 months, pull at least 6 loads in that category. And then they give them another call and they move you up to a 3. And you go all the way up to a 5 until once you get to 5, if you want to keep going, they have a long combination vehicle class that you got to go to. They call it the LCV class, and that's when you get into your Stingers and Jeeps on the, you know, your double drops and all that, those trailers like that. So I'm a 5 myself. There's no reason for anybody that pulls a flatbed to really be a 6 or a 7. So. Um, and now, don't get me wrong; those guys that are 6 and 7s and have the equipment to pull it and have the loads to do it, those are the guys making a crap ton of money. But you can still get to that level by pulling a flatbed to begin with. What most people don't realize is there's a big disconnect between the amount of money that a legal step deck pays versus, you know, what those guys that are, you know, pulling those 6-digit loads are. You know, when you get up to that, you know, you're making those loads are paying $100,000 gross. That's a lot of money compared to what we're doing. But man, you're going to starve doing it with a step deck to get up there. So you can do it with a flatbed, and then once you get on up, if you actually want to pull a double drop or extendable double drop, or you know, whatever it may be, then you can switch over at that point. But I wouldn't recommend anybody coming up through the ranks pulling a step deck here. It just, you can make a lot more money doing it with a flatbed.
Somebody asked, what are some better flatbed companies to learn at?
Well, from my experience, and the only place I've ever, you know, I haven't even worked for either one of these two companies, but from what I've seen, if I was an aspiring van driver that wanted to switch over and better himself, I would go with either what's that one, Maverick. I would go with Maverick, or I would go with TMC. Now, I'm not, as far as their pay and how they treat you and all that, I don't know, but I can tell you one thing. Those two companies, from what I've seen over the years, seem, most of their drivers seem to have their shit together. You don't see
Yeah.
tarps flapping in the wind. You don't see, you know, loads being dumped on the side of the road or anything like that. I know for a fact that TMC goes above and beyond in their securement training, way past what the DOT requires, you know. Uh, and again, you know, they actually, I think I was told, I don't know if it's true or not.
Chris, did Phil stop?
Nearly a week,
There you are.
guys, how to do this stuff. Yeah, somebody called me in the middle of this, so it cut out for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, they and you know, like I said, Maverick does a pretty good job training drivers too how to do it. But I don't know what either company pays. I don't know if they're worth the crap to work for, but they are. They seem to have their stuff together more than anybody else. But whatever you do, don't go to Western Express. Those guys, it's awful. They're I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. Half those guys can't even drive the damn truck to begin with, and then they give them a tarp and an 8-foot tarp and expect them to, you know, tarp a coil with it, and they give them about a handful of bungees, and it never works out worth the crap. So
They do pay their claims well, though, I know,
yeah, yeah.
as
Was
opposed to
that
another
So
big
does
mega.
was it
that
Western
was
Express or
Trent.
Trans Am?
That was
That was
Oh,
Trans
that
Am.
Trans Am.
was Trans.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's Trans Am.
I had a,
Yeah.
I had another experience before you. You guys don't know with another driver before you guys were around.
Oh, okay.
And Western Express paid the claim pretty quickly too, just like TA. So that's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Schneider does not.
I wasn't going to use any names, but you're right that they suck out loud at paying their claims, and their
Suck
drivers
out loud.
and their drivers aren't very cooperative either with trying to deal with the claims process.
Yeah. Wonder what old Flip Flop's doing right now.
He's probably sitting on the beach drinking one of those margarita things or something, something with an umbrella in it anyway.
It's Friday night. He might be dealing with another claim.
Yeah.
This, that's so fun that night, and I wish it would have recorded it because we had a video conference going on Signal. Because as Evan gets run over by the Schneider driver, and I'm looking at the GPS tracker, and I see Jared getting off the exit, and I texted him. I'm like, Jared, Evan just got hit in the parking lot. Haul ass over there. So Jared is standing there holding his phone up, giving us a play-by-play. And I tried screen recording it, but it wouldn't catch any of the audio, which is probably good because we said a bunch of unkind things about that Schneider driver.
Well deserved, I might add.
Yeah, well deserved. But hearing Evan scream at that guy when he tried to take off,
That was entertainment at its best right
well,
there.
it was it. I should have live streamed it on TikTok.
Well, has the world come to the end today? I saw somewhere that Trump got convicted of all 34 counts. Has anything happened in the world that
I heard them. The biggest thing was it shut down his donation site. So many people were throwing money at him. So, oh God, who knows? Oh, the TikTok thing. Do y'all remember the story about a guy called G Face? It was he went on this thing on TikTok about how, he just said, I double broker loads all the time, and he had all these tattoos and all this stuff. And he bragged about double brokering. And apparently he was finally indicted this week for securities fraud or something. So I hope you rot in prison, you useless piece of shit.
I don't know anything about this. Did you not bring this up to anybody? Or just enjoy it yourself?
Well, I guess so. Well, listen, if you hang around, Brandy and Anik, they keep you up to date on these things. But yeah, this guy was it was almost like a parody, so he was just this clown, waving money, and I'm a double broker, and I double broker all your loads, and the guy was a clown. But I guess he found out this week. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Josh said, so one thing that I don't know if we formally talked about this on the podcast, but we've made some changes inside the program where we now have an advisory board that is made up of 3 drivers.
I thought it was 5.
You got Greg,
Jared,
Jared. I think that's it.
Yeah, Phil. Oh, Richie.
Yeah,
Richie.
Yeah, Richie's on there. Yeah,
it's 5 on the board. Yeah.
Yeah, and Josh is on that too. So yeah.
And Larry and I are not in this, right? This is has Phil and Richie and Josh and 3 drivers, and their job
it has the nice managers in it. The assholes that got kicked out.
Yeah. But we pulled ourselves out of it so that they can feel, free to speak their mind, and not have to worry about management, getting in their way. And they've come up with some really great ideas. So like if you're brand new to the program, in your first 5 loads, you're going to have an experienced blue ribbon driver on the phone with you, helping you with the workflow.
That was Jared's idea, I think.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
but they're there to help you, because you're going to have so many questions, and we try to give you as much possible in orientation to prepare you, but it's too much to retain. And so with this advisory group, they can help answer those questions because they've been there recently. I've been out of the truck for almost 3 years. Larry's been out 5,
2019. Yeah.
6. So, um, they're there to help you get you over the edge, in the first 6 or 8 weeks, and help them have realistic expectations. And so that we think that's really going to help, because we try to give you everything we can in orientation, but with most people, it goes in one ear and right out the other.
Well, there's just so much of it. It's just hard to retain all of it. And people aren't very good at using checklists. That didn't work very well. So this was like a personal coach kind of thing to remind you
Yeah.
of things you need to do, things you've forgotten about. And it's your fellow driver. It's not a manager. So
Buckeye fan 1976. What's your guys' thoughts on companies like Oakley that pays mileage instead of percentage on both loaded and empty miles? I want percentage. I want a piece of the action. Tie me to the revenue, and I will make more money. I do not like being paid on mileage. I don't care what it is. Pay me on percentage. Give me a piece of the action. I would much rather. But I thought that was backwards. I thought Oakley paid on percentage instead of mileage. But I mean, when I started driving in the late 90s, percentage pay was basically reserved for like tankers and flatbedders. Most of your door swingers like me, we all got paid on mileage. It was very rare to see a van driver paid on percentage, but you saw it a lot in platform and tanker and dry bulk and stuff like that. I would I would much rather be paid on percentage. Now, if you're talking about as an owner operator, I certainly don't want to be paid on mileage. I want to be paid on percentage. So either way, either as a driver or as an owner, I want a piece of the action. I want revenue.
Let's hit this question by Jason here: the 53 or 48, which one is better? And Barb actually answered him in the comments, but there's, she said 53 more versatility, primarily a 53 all aluminum with the California legal split axles. I would go a little bit further than that and say, you want the California legal with a sliding axle where you can run it as California legal, or you can, you know, well, you could do one or two things like that. The trailer that Greg's got is actually California legal, but you can get them that where the rear axle actually slides on them, and you can run them as a tandem instead of a spread all the time. So that would be kind of helpful if you could find one like that. But if you can't, you could do the California split. So
yeah, I enjoyed when I was at Anderson. I had some of those California legal spreads, but you could close, because when you went in Canada, you had to close it.
Yeah.
You couldn't do spread axles up there.
Right.
So you'd stop the border and close your axles into a tandem, which means you had to think ahead when you were loading the thing to make sure you're going to be legal when you close the spread.
Yep.
But more versatility is always better. And we have seen that the numbers pretty much bear out that the 53 is more versatile and makes more money than the 48s, and the 48s make more money than the step deck. And the Conestoga has just been all around fantastic. Every person that has pulled the Conestoga has consistently made, the best money, because it's just so versatile, because there's van freight you can haul on it and specialized freight you can haul on it, legal freight. The Conestoga is awesome, and it's a great stepping stone. So we got somebody like Barb or Richie that has no experience whatsoever. The Conestoga is a great first step because they can go in and learn all the securement without having to deal with tarps.
Yep.
Let's see. You're talking about tires in the comments. Well, let's see here. Jared says, "Come on, tarps aren't that bad."
That's because you tarp every load you find. Like, I think you specifically seek out tarp loads, man. You literally punish yourself every day. What have you done that you're trying to make up for? Is what I want to know.
What is one of those masochistic self-punishment things?
Yeah, Jared feels bad about something he's done in the past, and he's going to punish himself to no end.
Oh gosh. Somebody said, "Oh, I want to run." Jay saying, "I want to run super solo with the wife doing flatbed." That's probably a pretty good deal, especially if you find customers that were 800-900 miles overnight. Has like a first come first serve delivery.
Especially if she can tarp.
Well, yeah, make her tarp. That'd be the deal.
Yeah, sit in the air conditioning. Then when she comes back in the truck after she's done tarping, ask her to make you a sandwich.
I mean,
see how that works out.
Tarp is just like making a bed, isn't it?
Wrapping a Christmas present.
Yeah. All right, you're getting canceled. Comments. I don't see anything new. Trying to fight dead air on a podcast.
Well, I'm gonna give you the bad news. Okay, you guys that attended the live event last year attended the last one because we've decided we're not going to do it this year. So
yeah,
that decision has been made.
Yeah, no live event this year. Too much going on. Just not enough. Just don't have the time to do it this year. Maybe we can put on a barn burner next year to make up for it, but just not going to be able to pull it off this year.
Does that mean we all convene on the sleepy town of Hurricane, West Virginia at some point? Just have our own little party.
Yeah, we can do that. Drill everybody in here, and we'll hang out at the hotel and drink beer.
That sounds like a great idea.
Oh gosh. Well, comment section, we're running out of steam. You're going to have to give us something to talk about.
Yeah.
Fleet party. All right, Barb, you're in charge of the snacks.
God.
Red Shift, I'm coming through Charleston next week twice. Can I bring a trailer to Cam's and pick up a gallon of Flashpoint? Yes, you can. We have it right on the shelf in the front room. Now, as far as like getting any alignment work done, not yet. But yeah, we can look at it.
Hey, did y'all realize y'all are considerably cheaper than some of y'all's competitors selling the max mileage? Specifically, that one brand of truck stops that it's got the T and the A in it, and the other one that starts with a P and ends with an O.
That would not surprise you, would it? You're not shocked by this, are you? Okay. Well.
Yeah.
No.
What are they selling it for now?
$300 plus tax.
Holy crap! That's insane. Yeah. Ours is $225, right?
That's at the ones. Not all of them have it. You know, it's just like the ones like that. What is that? That one in Kenly, North Carolina, and then it's the Oak Grove, Missouri, and Joplin, Missouri. Whoever the guy is that owns all those truck stops that's in that group,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember who they are. But anyway, yeah, that's $300 a gallon. I think the half gallon is about $180 a gallon, something like that. It's stupid expensive.
Hmm.
So
But you get that TA of petrol experience with it.
that's
Yeah.
horrible in itself. That's worth a freaking discount of at least $100 just for
But it gives
driving
you it
driving
gives
on the
you
property.
it gives you material to think about and piss you off for 8 weeks on end to talk about.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Jay said he's going to have his wife tarping in booty shorts to help his YouTube channel.
Oh my.
I'm not touching that one.
Let's see. What did I just say? Oh, is better diesel the same as max mileage? No. Max mileage is max mileage. Barb wants to start a fight. Can we go over newer trucks versus older trucks with maintenance, frequency of downtime, and overall expense numbers? Um,
Old news.
well, it's certainly, we've had a run here over the last 6 months of some unusual problems with the older trucks. Now, part of that is because for about a year we didn't have Carl, and so we didn't have, hey, what you going to do about this? And so we did quite a bit of finding out how valuable Carl was. And so over the last 3 or 4 months, I have personally been going over the fleet and finding things and getting them fixed before they become bigger problems. But even still, I am still in the camp of the older trucks versus the newer trucks, um, because the newer trucks can create some pretty gnarly nightmare scenarios, and the old ones can too, as we've had our fair share here recently. Um, but the numbers still bear out that a paid for 9907 that is maintained well
And pre-tripped.
and pre-tripped, that's huge. Is still wins over the newer trucks. Um, the newer trucks are now coming down in value enough to justify the acquisition cost. When those trucks were still 60, 70, $80,000, it just didn't make sense. But now that we see these 2020 and 2021s down in the 20 to 25 range, it starts to equalize out. Now Barb's in a 2018 with just under 800,000 miles on it, 100 and probably 20 of those she's put on it. And it's been a relatively trouble-free truck. We did an alignment, so we did some suspension work. We had to put a radiator in it. Uh, had to replace a headlight and some air fittings and an ABS sensor. I mean, there's really been nothing major happen to that truck, but from day one, it's been run with Pittsburgh Power Catalyst. Um, but like Josh says here in the TikTok comments, if you want to do a DD15 rebuild correctly, it's going to have to come out of frame. It's a great engine. It's a great design, but it requires um an extra level of care to make sure that you do the rebuild right so that you get another million miles out of it. With a Series 60, you can in-frame them 2 or 3 times, you know. Um, how much to rebuild a new motor versus old? We can today rebuild a Series 60 for about 15,000, including labor. You're looking at a minimum of 25 to rebuild a DD15, and if you have to go with everything, you're probably in the 30 range to really do it right. So it's almost double
And
to in
parts availability is an issue as well.
yeah. Um, so it's still double, right? Um, and the DD15 has some other quirks and issues that you have to take care of. You know, being very mindful of the oil pressure in the bottom end and the oil pan and the pickup tubes and all that stuff. Um, but the you know you just uh you just have to make sure whoever's going to in-frame your DD15, they better know what the hell they're doing. Um, uh, the Series 60 is just it's still, as far as I'm concerned, the best platform. And we had a little fun with one of the mechanics at the shop the other day because he walks up to Larry and he goes, "You ought to buy some Cummins." And
When he started saying I should buy newer trucks.
yeah,
Then he said, why don't you use Cummins? They're good engines.
right. And so I said, "Well, here's a teachable moment, okay?" And I went up to Larry and I said, "Okay, how many trucks have you operated?" And he's like 20, 25, and they all had Detroits. Yeah.
No, they all did because I had a Mercedes.
We had a Mercedes, right? And I said, "So I want you to think about this. You inside the shop see a lot of Cummins, but not a lot of Detroits." Well, yeah, that's true. So we're running the Detroits because we don't have to spend anywhere near as much time with you. And he went, "Oh yeah, man, that's kind of right, yeah, because I see the Cummins all the time because I'm inside the shop and I don't see the Detroits
And he
much."
made some comment about adding it up and it being math.
Yeah, we finally got the light bulb. Well, his light bulb glows very, very faintly, and then it's bright, and it goes back dim again.
Kind of like a kerosene heater.
Yeah, yeah. But he finally went. So it's about the math, and we went, "Yes, sir. It is 100% about the math."
Well, I've got something to add to this argument with the new trucks versus the old trucks. Um, I've run both of them. I had the two Freightliners when I first started, and in 2020 I bought this ProStar with a Cummins in it. Um, I wouldn't say the maintenance cost per year there's that big a difference in that, but the downtime that you spend in the shop is considerable versus what I was spending. Like every time I went home when I was driving the older trucks, I was either working on it or the shop was working on it. And now I spend a lot less time working on it. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually worked on that truck, but it seems like there's a cost savings there as far as the downtime. And don't get me wrong, I don't run like, most guys do out here where they're running, 3,000 miles a week either. But from my own experience, it's like I said, I mean, when you have something break down on the newer trucks, you better open your pocketbook and you better have some deep pockets for it because it's not going to be cheap, even if it's something small. I mean, you can, you know, I think not long after I bought that truck, I replaced the leveling valve for the air suspension on that truck, and I think it was nearly $400 when the one for the Freightliner that I had bought maybe 6 months before was like 125 bucks, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference in the price of the parts for the Freightliners versus International or any of the PACCAR, where it be a Peterbilt or Kenworth or anything like that. But there is something to be said for the downtime on it though. So that should definitely be taken into account.
Yeah.
Because that, a lot of people, they see the price of the maintenance on that. And they never take into time consideration how much time that truck spends in the shop. So, but it is an argument for sure. So, and eventually, the newer trucks are eventually going to win that argument. I think, and because it's going to get to the point where the old ones will finally be phased out. The parts will get harder and harder to find, and everybody will eventually have to switch over to the newer ones at some point. But whether we're there or not, that's anybody's argument. Just whichever side you're on. But I think eventually the new trucks will win out that argument.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly coming. Well, I don't think we're there yet. Um, I've found that um, if you do the diligence and you find the really good shop that can help you maintain that truck, and you are in tune with that truck, and you've taken the time to learn and understand the systems of your truck, um, uh, you can win either way with a newer truck or an older truck. The one thing that you don't want to do is fall for this bullshit argument that it's okay for me to spend $70,000 or $80,000 for a truck because I'm gonna have less maintenance cost. You
No,
know,
that argument's definitely don't work. But and the other thing with it, if you buy one of these newer trucks with emissions on it, you definitely you need to know how to take care of that emission system on it as far as the keeping the emission system clean, the diesel force cleaning and running the max mileage in it. Because if you don't do that, you're going to have a lot of problems. And I can personally attest to that myself, because before I started using max mileage, I had a lot more check engine lights than I do now. I don't have any problems with it now. I mean, it is what it is. But if you're one of these guys, especially if you idle the truck a lot at night, you're going to stop those filters up. So you better be prepared for that. And the other thing too is, if you get on, there's an app I have on my phone called OTR Performance, and I can go up to any truck in any truck stop that has, the newer trucks. I can't do it on the older trucks, like that '06 Freightliner that Evans got. I've tried it on that one. I couldn't do it, but like that one that the two Cascadias in the fleet, it would work on those. It works on my truck, but for I think it's about $300 or $400 a year. You can, if you're an owner operator and you only have one truck, that app will save you a ton of money. And it only takes one time for that truck to derate itself, and you have to have the damn thing towed to the shop, uh, and have it, a force regen done on it or whatever it may be. With that app, you can get it out, most of the time you can get it out of that derate mode, do the force regen yourself. Like when I first bought it, I'd done some research on this, and uh, you know, not long after I bought it, I had to change both of the NOx sensors on that truck. So you plug into it, and it's going to tell you, what code it is you're looking for and all this other stuff. You can Google the code, or actually that app will tell you what it is, what's wrong with it. So what I did was, I went to the dealership, bought the NOx sensor, came back, changed it myself. Uh, Went in, cleared the codes out of it because I knew it was fixed at that point. Did the dealer level force regen on it. I didn't have any more problems with it. So I mean, that would have probably cost me a couple $1,000s to have it done at a dealership. And if I had had it towed, it would have been that much more. But if you know what you're doing and you research this stuff, you can make money with these newer trucks. But um, it's just a matter of of a what you like. Whether you want to run the older trucks without the emissions on it, or whether you want to run one with a one of the newer trucks with emissions on it. But you better be able to take care of it. You better know what you're doing, because if you think you can run one of these newer trucks like you do one of the older ones and not take care of the emission system, you're going to fail as an owner operator, because those things are going to cost you a ton of money.
yeah,
What we're finding is that it's not the OEMs are not making the new trucks um, win the argument. It's the aftermarket that's making the new trucks become competitive.
Yes, exactly. Because the OEMs don't give a shit. They've proven that over and over again. But if it weren't for the max mileage and for that OTR app, yeah, I don't know that I'd even still have this truck. I would have probably went back to one of the older trucks by then. So
New truck versus old. Let's see the BRLS year to date data. Okay. Well, I can give you a 2018 versus a 2007. The 2018 has done $150,658, and the 2007 has done 146,566. Now that 2007 pulled a van up until when it March when Greg got into it. So that 2007 is right there neck and neck with, you know, Greg's pulling platform in an 07, Barb's pulling platform in a 2018. You know, um, it's a wash. You know, um, so
I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages to both of them. If you're mechanical minded, you know how to work on trucks. You don't mind getting your hands dirty. You like running the older trucks. You can make a lot of money with one of those if you keep it in good shape. But like, Larry said a while ago, or I don't know if it's Chris or Larry, but if you take care of it, you pre-trip the thing, you can still make a lot of money with one of these older trucks. There's no doubt in my mind. But it don't matter if you got an older or newer truck, either one. If you don't take care of it, it's not going to last, and it's going to wind up biting you in the ass at some point.
mm-hmm.
So
I mean, we have, let's see, 06, 04, 99, 06, 06, 07, 18, and a 19, or is it a 17? It's a 17. So out of our trucks, we have two of 17 and 18. Everything else is 99 to 07. Um, I, um, again, the Series 60 platform, is less, um, reflux inducing. Um,
Well, and don't forget the network either. I mean,
right.
it's one thing to get it worked on. It's one thing to not have anybody that you can find to work on it.
Right.
That's another thing we find is that we
you
can find a lot more Series 60 shops than we can, you know.
there will never be another network that's parallel to the Freightliner network on any of these. Whether it be any of the Packard, Kenworth, Peterbilt, International, none of them come close uh, to the network that Freightliner has. I mean, I don't even think that any of the other ones have any real 24-hour dealerships. And I know they're getting hard to find. You got to go to major metropolitan area to find one that's open 24 hours for Freightliner. But most of these other ones are closing, 5, 6 o'clock. At least a Freightliner to stay open like midnight or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's you know, it, that can be a big problem too. If you're needing a part and it's late at night. But
And Greg asked the question: can you get rid of lane warning, blind side, and front radar warnings on the newer trucks? That's an interesting question because you can certainly those trucks are certainly purchased without all that garbage. Um, but I don't know if once they're ordered with it, even if you buy it, I don't know if you can turn it off. Um,
you can unplug it because the check engine like to stay on all the time. But yeah, I have found that my truck don't have any of that crap on there. But I
I think
talked
I think
to
Richie
a
has a
guy that
special
did.
tool to fix it.
yeah.
Richie has special tools to fix those items.
I'm sure Richie's in La La Land right now. He's sick as a dog right now.
I
So,
remember when
Did you
those
see? Did you see that he was running? He was going in and out of continuousness.
yeah,
yeah.
when back in about I want to say late 99 or maybe 2000.
I'm going to get to that point sometime tonight. So,
Eaton came out with a system. It was the first version of the radar. It's called VORAD. U.S. Express had it on their trucks, and it had over on the B pillar on the passenger side. It
I
had
thought
this.
I thought that was a thing they could track Santa Claus with.
Yeah. Well, it would light up and it would beep when there was a car beside you. And it had a little radar sensor on the right side, and it had a radar sensor out in front, and it started this smart cruise and all this stuff. And
Well,
and
that was NORAD. I was thinking of.
yeah, and so this guy was talking about how all the trucks are going to get so much better and so much safer. And I said, dude, we had that back in the early 2000s, and they stopped using it because those sensors on the side of the truck kept getting ripped off when the driver didn't look in the mirror and ran over the car beside him. Because you can't fix stupid. Um, if you don't look in the damn mirror and you run over the car beside you, all the radar in the world's not going to help you.
you still believe in Santa Claus, Larry?
No, but I do believe in the Easter Bunny.
You do? Okay.
I've seen him.
You've seen him?
Yeah.
My neighbor's little girl thinks I'm the Easter Bunny. I had her convinced for like 6 months that I was the Easter Bunny, and then when it come time for Easter, I was nowhere around. I was on the road.
Listen, I've got some bourbon that I've got some bourbon that'll make you see Easter Bunny.
Maybe I need that instead of this blue
I'm
moon.
pretty sure Cinderella walked in too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've got a special request. Okay, if you're calling Landstar and you want to come to Landstar and you don't have a truck, and they send you this list of fleet owners that are looking for drivers, and you see my name or Blue Ribbon or any of our names on there, please exit off and don't call it, okay? Because when you call me, it makes my wife mad because I'm rude to you, okay? I had to have Chris today explain to Mary Lou why I was impatient with a couple of guys today. Let me walk through the conversation with you. You looking for drivers? No, I'm not looking for drivers. You got trucks? Yeah, I got trucks. You're on this list that Landstar says you need drivers. I'm like, well, Landstar is wrong. I don't need drivers. What do you mean? You got trucks? You don't need drivers? I said, no. And I said, here, let me answer all these questions for you. Go to www.blueribbonlogistics.com and read about it, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Well, why don't you just go ahead and tell me about it since we got you on the phone? I said, well, because you'll have 48 other questions that I can't answer without you reading it. So why don't you just do the homework and then call me? Or better than that, after you get done reading it, there's a place where you can submit a request for an interview. Just do that. But if you want to come here and you're too lazy to go to the friggin' website and read about it before you call, you're not coming. So that's so please stop doing that. My patience has run out. I lost my patience on January 8th. So
I think we should change that phone number and send it to Britchie.
listen.
Oh,
I have asked them numerous times to remove me from the list and never ever put me back on it, but I don't seem to be able to get that done. But anyway, we've spent a lot of time on this website and wrote all this stuff out so you could read about this and understand it. Just go there and do it. You don't have to call Landstar, and you certainly don't have to call me after you've called Landstar, because we don't have truck driving jobs. Okay, especially if you're coming to Landstar with no truck. All right, the chances of that happening are astronomical.
I wish you'd record some of these. They'd make great TikToks. You know, when one of just grab Mary Lou's phone and turn on the video camera, and just record yourself taking one of these calls one time. I think it would be precious.
I'd probably get put in jail or something. I'm a very private person. I need to be back private again.
Yeah.
You're the whole reason for all this. Before you, I never talked about anything in public. I kept my opinions to myself.
You're all.
Was you ever drunk?
What?
Was you ever drunk in public before this?
I'm going to plead the fifth there.
A good call.
Okay. Just asking for a friend named Phil, you know.
Yeah, well,
He's inquisitive.
Phil wouldn't remember the answer if I told him right now anyway.
I write shit down.
All
That
fine.
way I know.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. It's fine. Everything's fine. There you go.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm like, oh no.
I hope. I just, sometimes I think, people screenshot our signal text, and it'd be bad. Oh goodness!
I think Chris should tell that story.
What did I miss? Which story is it?
It gone.
Oh, I don't know if I should tell that one.
Probably not. Let's keep that to ourselves.
It's funny as hell.
I think they could tell that by the way we're all laughing.
Well, but that story though is a microcosm of many of the stories that the phone calls that I get, of a driver trying to explain in their vocabulary something is wrong with the truck, and in this case, it was, hey man, that thing on the back of the truck that the smoke come out of? I said the exhaust pipe. He said, yeah. He said that motherfucker's gone.
No, you said muffler. You said muffler.
I said gone. Yeah, man, it's gone. I said, where'd it go? I don't know. Maybe somebody stole it. I said,
somebody stole it.
He said, well, I was in a big storm last night.
Well, if it was a catalytic converter, they might have stole it, but not a muffler.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even a muffler. It was an exhaust pipe.
It was the exhaust pipe out of the muffler, yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. That motherfucker gone.
It's gone.
Love his heart.
We need like commercial break or something here where I can, compose myself.
Well, we've been in
Larry too.
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's all fine.
Everything's fine.
You're not making this any better.
It's all fine.
I'm gonna answer. If you need to go get another beer, I'm gonna answer a question.
I'm good. I've got all kinds. See?
Okay. From username on TikTok says, I'm 20, been wanting to become a trucker and a fleet owner. Any advice you would give me? Been wanting to become one all my life.
If you don't drink now, start.
All right. Well, username, here's what I'm gonna tell you. The trucking industry is a fantastic way to build wealth, but it's hard. Okay.
And you got to deal with people like us.
When you get your CDL, they inject you with narcissistic psychopathy. And it's really hard to overcome.
Continually.
But if you can overcome the narcissism that comes with a CDL, where you think that the axis of the universe runs through the top of your precious little head because you can hold a steering wheel and shift gears. And of course, most of them can't shift gears. They push a button on the dash to put it in gear. But at 20 years old, if you can learn how to put the needs of others ahead of your own, put yourself last, and go get your CDL at 21, Go find a company. I don't care which company. Just go there and be there a year. Do not get roped into an automatic transmission restriction, which means prime is out. No prime. Do not let anybody pay for your school. Go work, get $5,000 or $6,000 saved up, pay cash for a school, preferably like a VOTEC school, something like that, where they'll train you on a manual. They don't stick you with one of these automatic transmission restrictions. Then I want you to go work for a company. Any company, I don't care. Stay there 1 year. I don't care how bad you think it sucks. They're not the problem. You are. Stay there 1 year. I don't care how much US Express offers you per mile. Doesn't matter. You're not there for the money. You're there for the experience. You learn for 1 year. All right. And once you have 366 days of over the road experience, you go to blueribbonlogistics.com, you read about the masterclass, you click on join the masterclass, you read all about it, you do an interview, you come here, and for 18 months, you're going to come here and work like an idiot. You're going to work for 77 weeks. We're going to teach you everything that you need to know about how to build, run, and operate a successful, sustainable, profitable trucking business. And so at 23 years old, you should be completely and totally prepared to go be an owner operator and fulfill all of your hopes and dreams. But you are going to work like an animal. You don't need a motorcycle. You don't need a pickup truck. You don't need debt. Hell, you don't need an apartment. Just put all your shit in storage. Go get that trucking job. Work there for a year. Come here, do this for 18 months, and then the world is yours to conquer.
But you better really want it.
Yep.
I saw a Dave Ramsey TikTok where you can watch Dave Ramsey's blood pressure rise on one of these calls. And this lady said that her husband wanted to sell their $500,000 paid for house, live on her $85,000 income, and them live in an apartment so he could go buy a restaurant. And Dave said the fastest way to lose money on earth is opening a restaurant. And I wanted to say, and buying a truck. Mm-hmm. Guys, we try to tell you how hard it is. That's what pisses me off about these gurus on TikTok and Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, wherever they are. Oh man, it's easy. Just get you a CDL and do this and do that. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's worth it, but it is not easy. So if you have the misfortune of encountering one of these fucktards on social media that tries to tell you or convince you that owning and operating a truck is easy, block them and get them out of your life, because they're morons. And most of them are probably trying to sell you a $20 or $200 class. You know, I hate these people with a passion, but they just lead people down the path to ruin. And then when you're sitting there and your whole life's on fire, they're nowhere to be found, so please avoid those people. This is hard. It's very hard. It's very, very, very hard, but it's worth it. But you have to put yourself last. And I see these people that, oh, I want to be an owner operator so I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. Don't be an owner operator, because that's not how this works. You don't do anything you want to do when you want to do it, how you want to do it. You do it how the customer wants you to do it.
And when they want you to do it.
And when they want you to do it. And where they want you to do it. And you are last. The business owner gets paid last, if they get paid at all. So, what would be another route you would take if you couldn't get into Landstar as a new owner operator? Well, if you couldn't get into Landstar as a new owner operator, that means you have driving issues, experience issues, or money issues. So the route I would take if you have driving record issues is just keep going until your driving record issues. If it's experience, just keep going until you get the experience. And if it's money, wait until you can pay cash or come here and do the program where you don't need cash. You just need a work ethic. And you have two ears and one mouth, so you use one twice as much as you do the other. Um, but there's really only a couple of things that can preclude you from coming to Landstar. And most of those are you can overcome. So, well, let's see. We're coming up on the 2 hour mark, hour and 45 minutes. I think that's enough for this week. Um, I've still got more truck stuff to do tomorrow, and I'm tired and would like to go to bed. So next Friday, the 7th, looks like we're good for another episode of the podcast. And then I will be headed to the beach to embark on my daily nap schedule. My daughter's turning 18 while we're there. God almighty. How the hell did that happen?
You got old.
Yep. Yep. Sure enough. So we'll be back with you next week, next Friday night at 8 o'clock. And
Don't forget June 17th, open the shop.
yep, June
If
17th.
you want us to do any of our stuff to you, get on the website and make yourself an appointment so we fit you in.
Yep. C note on TikTok. How do you get info on the class? You go to blueribbonlogistics.com
and read.
There's a button right there. It says,
and if you like what you see, you can put a submission in, and guess what? You'll get a private interview with Chris and me. And if you live through that, you might get to come here. But that's a big if.
Yep.
Bring your football helmet. Bring your football helmet and cleats to that interview.
Yeah, there's about 7 little blocks right on the front page of the website. And you can read all about us and the program and all that. Face Shutter, do we dispatch other BCOs? Yes.
Well, we can. We might not.
Right.
We can.
You'll have to
talk us into it, and you talk us into it by that 2 ears, 1 mouth thing he said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can do that. BCOs aren't very well dispatched though, because they don't like to listen; they like to talk. And that there's only room for one person to talk when someone else is listening, and it won't be you.
Right. So yeah. All right. Well, we will be back with y'all next Friday. Want everybody enjoy your weekend, and we'll be back with you next week.
Hasta la vista, baby.
All right.